Stephen from Glen Car. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode of Random Candid Car Reviews, where the guy set out a car for me the night before. I got into work a wee bit early and do a review. So basically I've got no idea what I'm going to see, but I've got in stock about 20 cars. It could be any one of them. It could also be a random car selected by my two upstanding gentlemen that work at the garage with me, and which would give me even less preparation because I've got a rough idea of what we've got in stock. Now, I got a text message from Lee last night telling me that it's a double header this week, and then to add to the mystery, he said that there are two cars that are the same. I'll just put the text message up and let you see exactly what he said. However, either way, we'll see what we can do with whatever the guys have left out. I'll see you at the garage in a few minutes. We are here. So a double header. Both cars are the same. I can't think of any two cars that we've got at the minute which are the same. But we shall find out momentarily. So let me go unstrap, get the garage opened up, and we'll see what we've got. Let's take you guys off the mirror and you can follow me inside to see what we have. A bit more prepared this time. I've unlocked the gates. So, the moment of truth. Well, not really the moment of truth. The grand unveiling. What have we got? What have we got? Haha! Guys, you are going to love this. Wait till I go. Hold on. I'll sit you down. I did not expect this. I'm quite looking forward to getting a shot of this one since we sold it last year. So, are we ready? Lee, there's some thoughts going into this one. Big brother, little brother. So we have a BMW 318 IS of the E30 generation, and we have the current, well, not the current LCI, but we have the current generation 3 Series, the G20, which I'm actually looking for one of these. I think they're beautiful. I think they've really lifted their game. So they have beautifully detailed, as you can see, but I'm going to say, I think the start of the show, it really is going to be hard to beat an E30, and especially a 318 IS. We sold this car to Greg, who owns the workshop that we use to do all of our sales car prep. In fact, hold on a second, guys. Let's put the lights on. Get a proper look. Now, for the record, I really don't like old cars. I think for the most part they're usually a bit of a disappointment. However, there is always an exception, and I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 318 IS has got a 16 valve engine, so it should be nice and rev happy. I took a quick drive of it when we brought it into stock last year, but I never really had a chance to properly take it out and see what it was like. But we'll do that today. So enough of me rambling on. We'll get the new Upstart out first. G21. Do you know something? I'm not used to saying G21 because that's what I'm actually looking for myself. G20 first. Just squeeze it out by Greg's gorgeous little E30. Manoeuvring E30, I'd imagine, will be much easier, as it's about half the size. Back in a tick. Yes, so as you probably know, I'm a big 3 Series fan. I've got a 3 Series estate, and Julie and I have had 3 Series BMWs all the way back. I think our first one was an E36 318 IS in bright red, which I managed to upgrade her from her Suzuki Ignis for not much more a month. No, we're not even married. Hi Julie. So we've been a big advocate of the 3 Series for many years. The E46 is quite possibly my favourite looking. I think the E90 is I love this. I love how they drive. I love an estate and a saloon. The 3 litre petrol is such a nice engine. It's a nice balance. But sadly now, BMW no longer do a straight 6 3 litre petrol. The 330i is now a 2 litre, which is a wee bit of a bummer. But that being said, we're not in to talk about all the different variations of 3 Series. We're in to talk, this video in particular, we're talking about the new G20 3 Series and how it drives, how it feels, what it's like to be in, what the steering's like, what the brakes like, what the performance is like. In this particular car, it's just a wee 320, so it'll be interesting to see if it's still got a bit of poke. As you know, BMWs generally, doesn't matter if you drive a wee basic one or if you drive one of the Emperor cars, they all have that lovely feeling of being connected, which none of the other manufacturers really seem to get just quite just as dialed in. So initial impressions, the interior is absolutely beautiful. I love the new, I love it all. The outgoing F Series was a great driving car. The looks grew on me, just like most BMWs, they're all growers. But the interior was something that, initially, yeah, it's all great, all the interior lighting and everything, but ultimately the fit and finish did feel a wee bit, put it this way, it certainly wasn't as good as a comparable Audi. BMW, you're back in the game. This interior is fantastic. Initially I thought that the steering wheel was too big. It's quite a big, horn. Probably down to the fact that the last model, the F Series, the steering wheels in them are absolutely perfect. It harked back to the retro styling, and this is going all of its in its own design. So you get quite big, thick spokes, but that's probably to make room for all the buttons that are on here. We've got like 5 here and a rocker, same on the other side. And in this particular car, we've got a wee heated seat button, which is nice. TFT display and a lovely big infotainment screen. This is the BMW's, what they call a professional live operating area. I do call it a virtual cockpit, which makes a wee bit more sense. But basically, they've done away with the analog clocks and they've replaced it with a TFT display, which when you put it in from sport to comfort, it changes the style of the dash. It also feels like we're getting a bit stiffer there as well. You can feel all my wobbly bits wobbling, so we'll put that back into comfort for now. With this lovely, it's almost like a, how do we say? It's like a glass, a Waterford crystal glass gear knob, and I've accidentally put it in neutral, whoops. Which is very nice. The iDrive feels really nice and snappy. Spencer and I were just talking the other day about the actuation of the buttons is really crisp, and it sounds like something that doesn't even merit comment, but you'll know what I mean if you turn on like a really expensive TV or a stereo and you click the on button, you get that nice wee satisfying feeling of quality. Every button in here is like this, every button. And finally, thank you BMW, you have ditched that bloody pointless hot and cold knob that lived in the centre in between the 2 dials in the dashboard. I've always wanted to know what purpose that served. So you get temperature up and down for the driver, temperature up and down for the passenger, and then you've got a random temperature control in the middle. Goodbye, doesn't have it, it was pointless anyway. I think that was kept there for nostalgia because every BMW I've ever been in my whole life has had one of those, but it's gone. Scene position, typical BMW, you get nice and low in the car, which I like. The steering wheel all the way out and down, which is great for me because I'm a short arse. Visibility doesn't really come into it much in a saloon car. The ride feels, well, we're not really on any great roads just right at the minute. But oof, geez, whoa, that's a keen turning. That's really nice. Quick rack as well. We've just gone through a kind of wee road camming section there. Hardly had to turn the steering wheel. Cabin is really quiet. I mean, I would struggle to tell you what engine is in this car at the minute. Once we get it out into the national speed limit and the engine up to temperature, and we can give it some beans. Hopefully that'll give us a wee bit more indication of what the engine sounds like. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone's buying a 320i because they want to hear what the engine sounds like. They just want a nice performing car with good fuel economy. And so far what I can tell you is the throttle response is great. You wouldn't even know that the engine's turboed if I'm being honest. Car into sport, now it's up to temperature. May as well put it into manual as well, just for the full effect. I definitely see this car's got adaptive dampers because that was a pretty rough bit of road and it felt pretty rough. I tell you what, you wouldn't forget those indicators are on, they're loud. That's coming through in the camera. So trim off a bit of speed, bring us down to 20 miles an hour. Second gear will be fine. Okay, off we go. We're getting somewhere now. It's bizarre, the first few gears are painfully slow, I'm not going to lie. But once you get up into the upper gears, kind of 4th and 5th, it starts to trundle along pretty good. It's not fast, it doesn't make any noise. And gear roll-on performance at 3000 revs, good. So I dare say you probably wouldn't need to work the gearbox much. And a big long left-hander. Bit of steering, turns in really nice. Brake control's brilliant, really good, because it's a good road, but there's lots of rough patches and stuff on it. It's not skipping about. Really enjoy this car on a nice road, even with its rather weedy little 2-litre engine. I suppose not everybody wants the last word in performance. They're quite happy to have fuel economy over 0 to 60 and engine sound, which is, imagine, I don't know about the stats are, but these new modern 2-litre petrols are fantastic on fuel. Just slowing down nice, really good brake pedal. It does have a huge set of calipers on it, right enough, so that's probably why. Most of these things are really just for aesthetics because no one's really going to use the huge braking performance of these cars. We burley about and we'll give it a wee blast up here, see if we can hear anything. Do you know what it sounds like? See when you're driving one of the standard cars on Gran Turismo and it's just got that sort of muted background sound? That's what it sounds like. I mean, like, we've got the stereo off. If you had the stereo on even a tiny little bit, you wouldn't hear it. Not a thing. So I need to go back to the garage because we've got another test coming up. We've got Greg's E30 318 IS, and something tells me that's going to be a little bit more involved. So last part of the road test, we've covered how it looks, we've covered how it sounds, we've covered the brakes, covered the steering. We'll now see what it's like when we hustle it down a wee tight twisty road. Again, you know, it's probably not where this car's going to live its life, but it's a BMW, so it should be able to do it. Busy here this morning. Come here because it's quiet. Yeah. I can't hear anything else other than Gran Turismo simulated engine noise, and I don't think it is coming through the speakers. I think it is just how the engine sounds. Lots of grip. I mean, we're not going that quick, but we're going quick enough to find out how the front tyres react under a wee bit of pressure. Quite damp, and on a bit of acceleration coming out the corners there, there's absolutely no intervention from the traction control. Sorry guys, I need to excuse my keys and my camera sliding about there in the passenger seat. So yeah, no need to continue to push this car on. It keeps its composure really well over some of the rough stuff. I would actually say it keeps its composure better than the F-Type Jaguar that I drove last week. It may be down to weight. BMW are renowned for 50-50 weight distribution. I don't know, I've not checked because I've not prepared. Either way, it's really well behaved. It doesn't pitch and roll and yaw about the place when you're sending it on a wee bit. and the wheel control and everything's absolutely first class over these rather shitty B roads. Yeah, that's definitely a thumbs up, but not really any surprise being a BMW, as I know I sound like a bit of a BMW fanboy, but they just do suspension so right. Here we are at the end of the road test. What a view. So I'll jump out, take some pictures, take some B-roll, get back to the garage, dig out the E30 and see how it compares. Overall, I think the new 3 Series platform is a lovely, lovely package. I love the interior. I think the exterior is absolutely on point. The 320 petrol engine it's quite gutless. It doesn't make any noise. It'll do for people that are just wanting a nice, efficient engine that can give reasonable throttle response, great fuel economy, and just it propels the car fine, but it doesn't do anything for me whatsoever. But you see lots of 320i's and 320 petrols out in the road, so not everybody's looking for 300 horsepower and great induction noise and turbo noise and stuff. So to say the 320i will do the job just fine, just don't expect huge amounts of character from it. So let's get back to the garage, dig out the E30. Looking forward to that one.